My name is Carina Gardner, and I'm what you would call a practical designer. If you're ready to create a life that you love, become an incredible force for good, and generate income while pursuing your dreams, this is the podcast for you. Welcome to Make and Design. So like many other designers, my design sales are down. Why? Because it's summer and there are some weird things happening in the economy. In fact, last November, when I had discussions on my Design Your Life podcast, I talked about what I saw going on in the economy. And truthfully, I'm probably going to have more discussions about that over the next year and a half as I kind of watch and see what's going on. So if your design sales are down, what do you do? Now, first of all, if you're listening, in real time, this is coming out in August. And those of you in Design Suite know we have a calendar that helps you understand when to release things, how to deal with them. And then, of course, we're talking about when up and down sales are throughout the year. This is part of the reason we have a 12-month program, is because most of the time people are only doing things for 3 months or 6 months. And often that's not enough time to give you enough data to understand what's going on in the marketplace. So if your sales are down, first of all, I'm going to tell you, you are not alone. Okay. Now that doesn't make it okay. It just means that sales are down, and it means that you maybe need to really start thinking about what you have to do in order to get more sales so that your design or your art business are flourishing and making the most of what you need to do, okay? So I have a few suggestions for you. These are pretty simple and straightforward, but I like to give you guys tactical information so that you can move forward. And those of you who are on the Design Your Life podcast, I think I'm going to be digging in the next few weeks. So come on over. If you don't know what that is our private exclusive podcast. It's available if you go to designsuitecourses.com/design event. You will see all the events we have coming up, which, by the way, we have a summit coming up, the Design Suite Maker Conference, which is totally free. You can grab your free ticket to that. We're going to be crafting and doing all sorts of quilting. I mean, it's just really, really awesome. Also some business stuff. I will be teaching some business strategy. We've got some live panels happening, so you're not going to want to miss any of that. We have a design boot camp right after that, and I'm talking more about our university, our first cohort, cool things that we're doing. And what else are we doing? Oh my gosh, I just feel like we have so many things going on. I'm speaking at probably 4 or 5 different events this fall alone. That doesn't even take into account, I think the 3 or 4 events I'm speaking at just in January of 2025. So we have a lot of stuff coming up. And if you're like, hey, I need more of this, I want to know more about sales, I want to know more about how I can flourish as a creative, then you're going to want to come check out all the cool stuff. Okay. All right, so what do you do now? And by the way, so I think I was trying to give you guys designsuitecourses.com/design events. You can find the Design Your Life podcast there, and I'm talking real, there's no even opener or beginner on that podcast. I'm just talking for real about what's happening and what I'm seeing going on. So design sales are down. What do you do now? So here's some really basic things that I can tell you would help you to get started. Okay. First of all is analyzing why your sales are down. And there are a lot of reasons for why it is down. Okay. First of all is just over market value, so where does your stuff stand in the marketplace of life? Are you producing stuff that people value and need? Okay. The second thing is, are you paying attention to time of year? Sometimes people get real caught up in their head about things. They're not doing what they need to do, and they're not paying attention to time of year. Sometimes it is just a time of year issue. How do you know? Because in about 3 or 4 months, your sales automatically jump out or jump up, or maybe next year during a different month of the year, your sales jump up. That's how you know it's a time of year issue, okay? Sometimes it's a little bit of both. value, you're not offering enough value, or it's, a weird time of year. Okay. So that analyzation piece is pretty big. I don't see enough creatives doing it because, they think this is not a creative thing. I actually think analyzing what you have going on is a very creative process because you're digging in and looking at all the things you have going on. And by the way, if you don't know how to analyze, those of you on the Design Your Life podcast, there is a Excel sheet teaching you how to do that a few months back. So you're going to want to go check that out. All right. So analyzing value / time. Okay. So the next thing is determining if you are ready for new marketplaces. Sometimes, and I hate this, some of the marketplaces we're currently in do not work. And I'm not just talking about online marketplaces. I'm talking about manufacturers you're working with. So you might be working with a manufacturer and your stuff is just not selling, or it's not selling well, or they haven't picked up a line from you. It might be time to reevaluate if they are the right people for you. And this kind of sucks, especially if you have close relationships with those manufacturers. It really actually does suck. But sometimes you just outgrow a place, or they haven't grown with you the way you needed to grow. And I've seen designers move around to different manufacturers, and it's almost always because of this reason. There's just incongruency between the designer or artist and the manufacturer. In the other realm, in online spaces, what I'm seeing is that some online spaces, you just outlive what is you're providing in that marketplace. And so kind of like the capture of their customers, like they have so many customers, and yes, they're trying to bring more customers in, but like, especially if they were really, really big, the capture of their customers, you have like outgrown how much you can do there. And there's a lot of different reasons for this, but this is why I'm saying you have to determine if there are new marketplaces that you can join that's going to really help you. This one is tough, okay? And if you're in Design Suite, you should be asking your coach about it. You should be talking about it on Marco Polo with us, because we need to know if you are feeling like maybe we need to make a switch. Because in Design Suite, one of the things we do is we know of a lot of marketplaces that are making money, and we're kind of segueing our designers into the ones that make the most sense, that we know are making the most money. And that really helps us and helps them, so that we know that they're being successful. For you, if you're doing it on your own, man, research. If you don't have the inside scoop, then you've got to rely on researching it for yourself. And it does take up quite a bit of time, and you might make mistakes, but all of us do that. All right. So determining new marketplaces. Okay. I am going to call number 3 the leap of faith. And this one is tough, and I have an example for it. But if the market is low, you're not making sales, and you're just like, what do I like? I don't think this is going away for whatever market category you're in. And you're like, I need to take a huge leap of faith and either move into another medium, or I need to move into another market, or I need to just something what I would call really big. I need to go to a show. I need to spend money on a show. I need to, whatever it is. I call it like the leap of faith. Now, this happened to me. I mean, it always happens to me, but this really happened to me. Probably it's been 6 or 7 years ago. I was really strong in 2 or 3 marketplaces, doing very well. And I just started seeing that there was like this particular market that I saw doing extremely well for other people. And I was like, I'm on the forefront of this. If I do this right in this particular marketplace, I think I could make a lot of money. But it would require me learning new software. And I was very much like, I'm very cognizant of the amount of time I put into especially my design businesses and how much money those are making. And I knew it was going to take at least a week to learn this software. I thought I could learn it pretty well in 2 or 3 days, but I knew I would have to cut myself off from all the other things I had going on and take off a week. And for you might be like, that's not that big of a deal, Carina. And I'm like, it is. That is time well spent making money, right? Especially when your livelihood is design. So if I'm not putting out products that week, that kind of freaked me out. But I decided to take this leap and learn this new software. And I learned actually 2 or 3 softwares during that time to determine what was going to be the best for me. It took me 2 days of learning to get a real feel for the software. It took me an entire week to kind of kick things off with that software. And that ended up being one of the most financially lucrative marketplaces for me to do. And I was completely surprised by it. I mean, not completely. I had an inkling. I had no idea how much. We're talking about going from like $3,000 a month in that particular area up to, I think it was like $7,000 to $7,500. So it was like double plus, right? Return on investment for taking that week off. And that's what I'm really talking about when I talk about a big leap of faith. I have also taken leaps of faith where I've either taken time or money. Like going to a show, you guys, is a leap of faith. Like you don't know if there is going to be any financial reward for going to a show. You just don't. But you're throwing money at it, even if you don't throw money at getting into the show or hosting a booth. You're throwing money if you take the time, right? So time is one of the issues. Second is food, because you're not eating your own food, you're eating out. And 3 is hotel and flight, right? So the travel aspects of it. Now compound that with having a booth, which booths are, $2,000 upward, depending on how you're doing it. When I started Mini-Lou, it was a huge leap of faith. We did several shows. I hoped against hope we'd get enough sales to make those shows worth it. But it total leap of faith. The answer is yes, we did. Thank goodness. But it was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And so when your sales are down and you have to take this big leap of faith, it's like game changer, but it also can not work, right? It's kind of the risk versus reward. Now, am I anti-leaps of faith? You just heard me say I take leaps of faith all the time. I think it's actually the main reason I'm in business today and I keep doing the things I'm doing. This new university we're doing, total leap of faith. I don't know how university is going to do. I just have no idea. But my spidey senses says that the market really could use more master's degrees in design and definitely in something that I haven't seen before, which is design business. And I think that's important. That's important enough for me to kind of go, you know what? This is something I really want to do. I want to see if I can make work for people. And that is a leap of faith. Okay. All right. So hopefully these things will help you. I think analyzing right now value and time, determining any new marketplaces, and then what I call the big leap of faith, which can be, any number of things. Jumping head into a new business, jumping into a new software, jumping into a new marketplace. And the reason I kind of separated out 2 and 3, determining new marketplaces, is often when we determine new marketplaces, it's in areas we're already good at, right? So if you're in printables, moving your printables into a new marketplace isn't a huge leap of faith. It's expected. You know what kind of money you make currently in printables. Starting another marketplace with those same printables, it's not going to be that scary. It really isn't, okay? Leaps of faith are a tiny bit scary, okay? And some of you maybe need to hear this right now because it's time. It's time to see your sales, recognize how things are going, and maybe it's time to take a huge leap of faith, okay? Hopefully this is helpful for you. I am sorry sales are down. If you are listening to this and you're like, man, I am feeling this right now. But you need to be very smart about it. And by the way, if you have not read my book, Make Art That Sells, I have a free masterclass for it. And I'm telling you about this now because one of the things that we do in that class, or the masterclass, which can be free if you want to go grab it, is we really dig into pivoting, time, and volume. And those are part of the formula. And part of the reason we do this is this for this very thing. If you have not been tracking your data over the last year, okay, and by the way, leaps of faith don't happen in the first year, you guys. Some of you are like in your first year and you're like, I'm ready for a leap of faith. You know what? Your leap of faith was starting the design business. If you're in your first year, you're probably still, you haven't spent enough time analyzing value and time. You haven't been determining new marketplaces. You probably don't have enough volume under your belt to really know what a leap of faith really looks like. Okay. Your leap of faith happened when you started your design business. Okay. Instead, what you have to do is you have to be analyzing everything you've got going on, which is why I wrote that book, by the way. Make Art That Sells, like literally wrote that book because I was just like, people aren't spending enough time critically thinking about the current business that they have. And so they don't even know where to go. Not everything is gut instinct. There's actually a lot of it that's knowledge from what you've been doing. And that information really guides you into doing the correct thing next. But most people aren't thinking that way. I'm thinking that way because I want to be doing the next thing that's best for my business. And I'm not going to do it well unless I have the data in my current business, right? So, by the way, if you want that masterclass for free, if you go to makeartbook.com and put in make art as the code on the masterclass, it's the second link, I believe, on that page. If you put in make art, you can get that class for free. So has a download, I think 6 lessons. Go watch it. It's great for you. Okay. Hopefully that helped. Things will get better. If they don't start getting better, I would say in the next 2 or 3 months, then it's maybe time to make some changes. But a lot of times you just don't know what you don't know. And so you just need to sit down and really analyze the current data that you're working with. All right, guys, hopefully that helps, and I'll see you soon.
Did you know you have access to more free design content, die cut files, and sewing patterns? Join our exclusive VIP group for free by going to designsweetcourses.com/free.